and we'll do our cleanse on Monday. So if you want to start your 3 days and then wait 4 days for your main cleanse, you can, or you can start right after you do your gutty. It just depends on your body. Okay, let's invite her on. Here we go. Look, I'm getting all red. I'm so excited. Hi!
What's up, lady? How are you?
How are you? Oh, I'm so excited.
Me too. I'm so happy to be here. Actually, it's my first TikTok live.
Yay!
So really happy and honored to be here with everyone. And you're like the only other person I know of that gets as excited about parasites as me.
We do. We're kind of nerds, right? Like it's so cool to find out what the root, right?
Okay, girl, I'm with you.
And I'm your first. Oh, that makes me happy. I am people's first a lot on TikTok. So because my followers are so awesome, and it's such a good place to be the first because they're calm.
And they're educated, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I love an educated audience. There's nothing better.
They're super smart. I love them. They've been so excited to be able to ask you questions and
Yay.
yeah.
And I have to say, I love the Pearify kit. It's great. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love to try out herbs and the herbals I them, they're amazing choices. They're synergistic. And I love that you added honey.
Yeah.
One. I love that. I've not seen that before. That's amazing.
Well, it's raw unpasteurized, so it kills the candida. And, it's really hard to get wormwood to taste good. So it's like, I mean,
it's nasty, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
But sustain kind of makes up for it. So we make a tea, and then instead of just diluting everything when you're making bulk like we make, if you make it with a tea, so we do like a peppermint tea, which also helps with intestinal worms. And then the raw honey helps with candida. So we really wanted every single ingredient to make sense, not just, oh, well, we threw in, glycerin for
Yeah.
I mean, no, man, I need it all natural. So,
Right? Thank you. That's how I like to treat now. It's just all natural. And on my membership, that's all we do. Basically, we give you conventional ways to do it, but I teach people how to do it the natural way. And the herbs you're using get to the root cause. And I like some of your products, there's like stage levels. Like some people who are really sensitive will take your binder, for example. And then other people may not be able to do Pearify right away, or maybe they can. I don't know, right? You probably have to about how to use it a little bit. And then but there's all different stages of people who can use your products. It's wonderful. So
I really wanted people to understand that when you start, how it should feel and what it should look like. So it's really not just you're buying a kit, you're really buying the education to kind of help yourself, because man, I'm telling you, it's just, you're kind of out there willy-nilly. You're a really rare diamond because you are an MD, and it's really hard to find people who accept that in Western medicine, especially coming from a hospital like you did.
It's kind of like a past life, honestly, at this point. Yeah, just for your audience, people who don't know me. Hi, everyone out there. My name's Dr. Jess, and I worked in a hospital as a hospitalist for almost 7 years, and really it started to have cracks in the system for me because I started to see what they fed cancer patients in the hospital, the patients I was admitting. I started to see, I was helping patients be discharged on, 30, 40 medications. And I just sort of woke up to what was happening. And when I brought it up to colleagues and my team, thinking they would kind of pair up with me and get those guys. No, it was kind of like I was set down. I was told I was a disruptive physician, and said, you can't behave this way anymore and work for us. So I ended up quitting and getting trained in functional medicine at the Institute of Functional Medicine, Gerson therapy, trained in ozone, and, really got into the world of Lyme, parasites, mold, because I kept asking why for people. Why do they have brain fog? Why do they have Why do they have eczema? You know, all these things. I just didn't think it was just in someone's genes all the time, and that a lifelong medication had to be the answer. So when I kept asking why, parasites were one of the things that kept coming up in the functional medicine world. And then, you know, when I would do prep the body and do cleanses for herbs that are known around the world to help cleanse parasites, and we
Mm-hmm.
deworm our ear, I saw people improve. You know, it's a very cause and effect relationship that, even though the science only promotes these things happen in third world countries sometimes, I was seeing different. And you want to do what helps people in front of your eyes.
Yep. You know, it was in my water. Like, you know, that's how, yeah, that's how my cycle started. And when you tell people that, they're like, "Were you on a well?" No, I'm not. I'm on a community well. There's thousands of people that live in my community that are on this well, and they don't believe it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Girl. So, would you know which one you had?
Yeah, we had nematodes. We had roundworm. Well,
Yeah.
I got Cryptosporidium parvium. My
That's a
husband got D. fragilis, and we both had Giardia. And
oh,
he had a nematode, so he had roundworm, and I did not have a real worm, but we have a bidet, and he uses it, and I stopped because
oh,
I kind of started thinking it's in our water. Like, we live in a rainforest. We have sitting water. There's signs everywhere that says, "Don't let your dogs drink out of the water." Well, what the hell? Don't let us dig in the water, man. Like, don't, like, we have lakes. Yeah.
oh my gosh.
And
I can, you know, honestly, people don't know how awful water is. They
they,
don't understand how awful and toxic it is. The way that even city municipal supplies clean the
Mhm.
water is with, and chlorine byproducts turn to these really toxic substances, things like perchlorate, which damage our thyroid.
Mhm.
And toxins attract parasites and bacteria for cleanup. They're the great decomposers in the natural environment. And so they just live in the tap water now. I mean, I've definitely heard people getting H. pylori, which is a
Mhm.
bacteria from tap water, Giardia, like you mentioned, which is traditionally found in like campers out in creeks. So to get it in the water is wild.
Yeah. Well, and then I found out that H Cryptosporidium parvium is not killed by chlorine and bleach. It's not. It actually thrives in it, and I'm all, son of a gun. Like, it's crazy. It's really a crazy thing. And the doctor that I see is an oncologist, ND. And so she's like, "Well, I mean, you live in the peninsula. It's really common there." I'm all, everyone around here acts as if it's not.
Can't handle it. Like they don't.
Hmm.
It's like not in the mainstream. People don't want to understand how bad it is. But I'm telling you guys, you deworm your dogs once a year. We are also mammals living in the same environment and pretty much the same society, mostly in the same household. So you share microbiomes with your pets, with your loved ones, with everyone. And we, do you guys think parasites know about borders?
Right.
Do you guys think they understand that?
No, they just don't. They don't get it. Like, it's in. I found out in the midst of all of this that they don't test our water around our country for parasites if it doesn't have bacteria, and that is a really a big issue because we had no bacteria in our water. So we tested it. Like, we tested, well, I ended up sending my water off to an independent lab who is in Arizona and then went to Mexico. And I'm an affiliate with them. He's awesome. He does our stool and our water and everything. And
Oh,
we,
I need to know him. You need to
oh,
send me his
oh yes.
person, please.
Evan is amazing. His whole like thing, it's only $250, which is pretty incredibly inexpensive. And I tell a lot of my followers, if you think you have it and multiple people have it, test your water before you test your stool, because it's going to give you a better idea of what is in your whole family, because it's $250 per stool. And I use the same stool with his test as I did with LabCorp.
Oh, wow. And the lab core was negative, right?
Negative. Yeah. Nothing.
Or,
Yeah.
of
And then
course.
positive for Jeremy. My husband still has a little bit of a larvae nematode, which it's fine because he's out. We're building and we're out, and but it's at least we know we're making our bodies inhospitable enough that it gets rid of everything. So
Absolutely. And that's a big point you bring up. People say I've parasite cleansed for months and they keep, I don't know what's happening, or I can't get better, I can't get over the hump. And often you have to look to what in your terrain is keeping it hospitable for those parasites to still flourish, right? Are you stuck in flight or fight? Do you have mold in your house, right? A lot of these things can kind of make you sort of more sitting duck, if you will, right? Continue to replicate in the body. And people just don't think this can happen. I would wager to say 70 to 80% of people have parasites at some point in their life.
Yeah, I think the number is even higher.
It probably is.
Yeah.
I'm being very conservative here with these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But don't have the proper testing, you guys. Mainstream testing, it hasn't changed in like 30 to 50 years. It's quite archaic. These things, parasites have been around as long as we have. They are not bad at their job, which is not being found.
Yeah, they're very smart. It's actually, I can tell you, we in the academia world, because that's where I was before I got really ill. It was sad. I did not take it seriously. So when I wrote some A&P books, and I helped with DeVry's academia on their allied health side. We did not take it serious. So they spent about 3 to 4 minutes with the poo under a microscope, and if they see nothing, then they move on. So you get 3 to 5 minutes, 5 tops, really. I mean, in all honesty. Yeah.
And I don't think people even understand that it's someone looking at
Right.
a microscope behind this. It's not like it's some computerized, like, high tech procedure that's being done here. It's a human on the clock,
Mm-hmm.
right? Looking. So people, not everyone even knows that much. And I completely agree with you. Everyone's busy. They don't.
They don't. And it sits out. That's another thing. Because when you should always refrigerate your samples. So when they get them, they end up letting them sit out, which is really bad. And so it ends up possibly killing what they're supposed to be looking for. And it ends up being a vicious cycle, because then you look crazy. And it's sad that we're kind of at this point where a lot of people, they'll send me messages and I'll be like, just cleanse. Like,
Yeah.
because
Right.
that's what you have to do, is cleanse.
Yeah. There's so many errors in the processing of things in the lab and in pathology that people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And by shedding light on that, actually, that's just how things are. Everyone's busy, and there's a man-made error all over the place with
Mm-hmm.
these things. So I agree with you. If there's symptoms, I feel like sometimes my specific questions, or just spending time with people and knowing their specific symptoms, can be more accurate sometimes than just a quicker fix for them to go ahead and cleanse if they fit that symptomatology of
Mm-hmm.
parasite. What were some of your symptoms?
Well, I had really bad endometriosis, and
Mm-hmm.
I had an appendicitis. And so, that's like the first trigger. And then I wasn't going to the bathroom. I mean, that was probably my biggest thing, is I wasn't pooping. And after a while, you start to think, okay, well, I'm going on like a month, and being in the medical, I know this is a really bad thing. And so I tried everything. And then I don't know, last July, I was like, okay, well, I've stripped my body of everything. I don't eat meat anymore. Like, I've done everything. And I mean, I've been fighting this for 20 years.
Oh,
Yeah. We moved up here, for a couple of my followers know this, but we moved up here to either heal me or to just let me be at some point. So, and
oh my!
I was not done. Like, I was not done, and I was ready to fight it. So I just took the Paragard, and in 3 days I knew that a lot of my endo symptoms were parasites. And I had thought I had parasites like 5 years before, but all my doctors said, because I had a team, were like, no. And I'm all, well, what would hurt? They're like, you don't have parasites, Kim. I'm like, I think I have worms. I had pinworms.
Oh my God! Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
This is really common. Really, really common. People don't understand the symptoms of parasite. Were you teeth grinding?
Yes. That's why my teeth
Yeah.
are so straight now, because I grinded them so bad. And I always had really nice teeth. So I had TMJ, and then I got braces instead of breaking my jaw. I got braces
Yeah.
instead. And I'm like, well, if all else fails from grinding my teeth and I end up with nice straighter teeth, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I did. I mean, it's just, and it's a collection of mistakes, you know, and what can you do? Like, what can you say to doctors? Like, they're human. And a lot of my colleagues that I worked with, which a lot of them don't like what I'm doing.
Yeah, of course not. A lot of my colleagues don't like what I'm doing either. I have to relate to you. You know, I get it. It's when you go kind of rogue and against the grain, it feels really good to get to the root cause and help people now actually
Mhm.
reverse things. Have you reversed your endometriosis for
Yes,
the most
I'm
part?
in remission. I know, I'm not going to cry. I'm in remission. 20 I know, I know. It really is like, and I've been in remission for 5 months now. 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's huge.
I'm
I,
it
you know,
is.
a root cause quickie on wellness class about endometriosis. So when I have one of the reasons is parasites.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many, I've actually seen women release parasites during their cycle,
Yeah.
and reverse things like PCOS symptoms, put that in remission, put endometriosis in remission. So it's really interesting that you have that story too.
I also take mushrooms. So anyone that's watching, Fresh Cap is my go-to. Rogers 10 is your discount code. So Maitake actually helps calm PCOS. It's like the
Mhm.
gold standard of mushrooms, and that's in their ultimate mushroom complex. But before I knew about that, we started growing our own, because I started researching that 3 to 5 grams of turkey's tail. So turkey tail mushroom
Uh,
is for adenomyosis, endometriosis, and PCOS, and any scar tissue you might have. Plus, in addition, they give it to chemo patients. So I was like, well, shoot, if they're doing chemo patients, then I'm going to treat my endo like I have cancer. So, I mean, I went, I'd had enough. Like, I'm 43 years old and I want to live a better life. I've had a hysterectomy. You look really good for 43.
32. So, yeah, girl, so do you. You look good. Yeah, 3. Yeah. So,
I mean,
so,
I really felt like I needed to get off of my synthetic meds, which I think really feeds parasites and feeds I have candida and parvo and endo, like it feeds all of it.
yeah, absolutely. Viruses and parasites actually play off each other. They have this interplay in the studies, like Leishmania
Mm-hmm.
parasite, a virus LRV, retrovirus, and when they play off each other, when immunity's low, one can activate the other one. Actually, the viruses live inside the parasites. So even herpes viruses live inside parasites. So you can get rid of cold sores for people, and herpes viruses sometimes put them in remission by parasite cleansing. So that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that firsthand in practice, actually, with parasite cleansing with people and getting successfully the root cause of that for them. So I can't believe that you have done that with mushrooms too. We've
Mm-hmm.
actually I use turkey tail to treat cancer patients in Gerson therapy.
You should put 3 to 5 grams. 3 to 5 grams is what it is.
Amazing. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that's the
Yeah,
okay.
so I take 5 grams of lion's mane, and
Love it.
I take 5 grams of turkey tail. Then I take 3 grams of reishi and cordyceps. I still had to add, because cordyceps is for the bones, but I still had to add additional calcium. I still have to do vitamin D3 and K2, but it still kept me where I was at a normal level.
Yeah.
I was so below normal before, like osteoporosis, because I was put on Lupron twice.
Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, drugs, they tell you they have some nasty side effects. And I've seen so much vitamin D deficiency lately.
Hmm.
A hormone actually because it works all over the body, but I actually think that it can be somehow be destroyed or degraded by some of these pathogens in the body, like parasites act with iron. If you guys didn't know, parasites can actually eat iron and
Mm-hmm.
eat away the body and make people pretty anemic. So that's one of the major reasons for anemia for people. And I wonder if vitamin D doesn't have a similar process, because so many people get enough sunlight and they're like, I take this much, and their levels are still in the toilet. So just a
Now,
thought.
when you, oh, I believe it, because they take 90% of our nutrients, our food. We literally are operating on 10%, and then correct me if I'm wrong, as we're cleansing, that 90 turns into, they only get 80 and then 70. So then I personally take every 3 months I do new blood work, because as I'm cleansing and I'm getting myself cleaned out, that it ends up that I have been downgraded on my synthroid, like those type of things change.
Yeah, 1000%. I actually think that's involved with mold as well in a lot of Hashimoto's cases, for sure, or thyroid problems,
Mm-hmm.
thyroid medication. And then, they cause so many things that people wouldn't think too, like even eczema, psoriasis, like skin rashes. I've seen a lot caused by parasites as well. I don't know if you've seen that too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, quite a bit. And then I've even seen like dairy sensitivities and lactose intolerance type of issues go away as well from parasite cleansing. It's pretty cool. And I love that you were able to go down in your thyroid medication.
It's
That's amazing.
so nice. It's so nice. I'm still on it, but like I talk about how, and I talk about how we're still going to have the effects that these things have left on us. But now, did you have parasites?
No, not that I know of, but I have a body type that's sort of a warrior genotype, so I'm very much protected by a lot of, I just never feel bad. I'm lucky that way. But my difference is that I started believing patients. I just sat and had people in front of me, and I just started believing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like, this peer-reviewed paper says you're wrong all the time. And when I started to listen to patients and believe them, and they told me they pooped out worms,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to gaslight them. And the more I listened, the more I heard it over and over and over, and that's what made me a believer. And trust me, I've had my fair share of parasite cleanses now, because I think we're all exposed.
Yeah. How many times a year do you do yours?
At least probably every 4 to 6 months, I would say, for me. Yeah. How often do you do them?
Well, right now, because we just found out it was in our water in December. So basically, we were just like keeping it at bay. I'm doing it monthly right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
You,
break. I took a little bit of a break last month. I really needed a break. And you have to take a break for 2 weeks prior to doing a stool test. So we took a break because I was seeing if I got rid of the crypto to get the
yeah.
EBA. So I have EBA, which is the Anebio, but it's not it's
It's
the
not the histolith.
no,
It's
it's
the,
the Hartmanni.
yeah, the other.
Yeah, it just causes diarrhea, but I still have it, which could have mimicked the crypto. They say they kind of mimic each other. So now I'm taking oil of oregano, Mediterranean oil of oregano, and then tomorrow I start my cleanse again. So,
Oh my goodness.
and
Okay. But I would do straight through if I were you too.
yeah.
I've kept people on for 4 to 6 months straight through before, because they literally are displaying every symptom, or they have positive test results or something like that, like you.
Do you have
Um,
them take breaks? That's kind of like where when people talk to me about it, I do it sporadically, so it's hard to kind of give people the exact directions.
Yeah, it is. It's very hard to do that, the exact directions. It depends on the ingredients a lot of times. But if it's something like simple, like let's say mimosa pudica,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, I would kind of, or, something that's a little more gentle, I would definitely have them go straight through, as long as they're tolerant of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you improve. right? If they're continuing to improve and steadily climb, it's different. And sometimes I'll notice there'll be roadblocks, right? Like someone will have mold in their house and that will prevent them from healing totally on a parasite cleanse. Or they'll have, root canals that need to be addressed, or mercury fillings, maybe, that need to be safely removed before the cleanse kind of takes hold almost for some people. So sometimes I have to troubleshoot with people because there can be a few roadblocks, but I definitely have people, I've had them stay on certain cleanses straight through.
Okay.
And then sometimes it's good to take breaks too and to rotate things around the full moon as well. And if you guys don't know about the full moon, it's because there's this big bright moon in the sky, so your body naturally produces less melatonin and more serotonin. And serotonin is like parasite party food, kind of. It makes them just more mobile, and that's a stress on your body. So you'll clench your teeth at night. It's sort of stressful. You may be itchier. You may have more anxiety, feel a little bit more pinged. That's why emergency departments are crazy around full moons.
They are.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Were you an emergency department nurse?
No, I was a medical specialist. So I wasn't a nurse. I wasn't a medical assistant. I saw patients here and there. And then when I moved to Washington, I had to be licensed.
Yeah.
But I worked in Salt Lake. I worked at one of the hospitals there. I worked in their ER, and then I ended up working in their radiography. So I was a limited scope tech for radiography for a while. And then I left and did neurology and endocrinology. I worked with diabetics and Alzheimer's patients.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Left the
It's
field,
hard
went and worked in academia. And then it
to.
was academics is just a beast. They're their own crazy people. I think they all have worms.
All the time. I think that person has a parasite. I know.
They do,
So
man.
much. I know. I know. Oh, goodness. Well, should we answer questions? What do
Yeah,
you think?
yeah. I'm a little behind. I apologize, you guys. We had a freeze up. TikTok does this to me. They really hate me a lot.
Oh, really?
But
I don't understand because you're telling the truth, maybe.
yeah, yeah, yep, yep. It's pretty bad some days, but I have 5 backup accounts. This is my 31st account.
What?
Yeah. I was permanently banned in March on Insta and got my account back. I'm lifetime ban on Twitter. Oh yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I'm good now though. This account is really doing great.
Yeah.
It is. They're gonna leave me alone for a while. Okay, so
Right now. It has to work. So,
yeah, and if not, I got backups. Let's see. So someone said, okay, how do you test? Parasites.org is where you test, and everything we talk about is on my website. That's why I have a website, so that you can go to my website and you can see the stool, the water. He's got a bacteria swab as well, so I found out I had E. coli,
uh,
high level of it. So everything I talk about on my account is always on rogershood.com. Someone said that what if I had Lyme, Barbesia? Okay, I don't know how to pronounce another one. Anapalosis,
and yeah,
Barbesia, few years back. Now, those type of things don't go away, right? You have to treat those. It's like toxoplasmosis. You have to treat it or it just stays lingering and just multiplies, correct?
yeah, they said Lyme, Babesia, and anaplasmosis, I think
Yeah.
is what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those things I can act like frenemies in a toxin bucket together to get on top of your immune system. And the anaplasmosis is likely there because of the Lyme, and the Babesia is a parasite that is a protozoan.
Okay.
It's a microscopic parasite that gets inside red blood cells. It actually is confused with malaria on blood stains, and so it's actually common. About 30% of cases of Lyme have Babesia with them. And so it's actually that should be treated for the Lyme. And so you were really looking at parasite cleansing with that one, and things that ingredients like wormwood, artemisian that go intracellular inside the cells to actually get at the parasites.
Do you feel like you can extend too much wormwood? Like, in your opinion, I've done a lot of research in Germany. They do a ton of wormwood research for MS and for chronic pain, aging. And of course, our country does not think about it that way, but I have not read anything that wormwood is really bad for you long term.
No, I haven't either. And I actually love that herb so much.
Me too.
So yeah, right. For so many different reasons, I think they think it's magical, and it probably helps so many different conditions that you mentioned because it is a intracellular and treat this inside the cells, which is really important.
It's Mother Nature's prednisone in the herbal world.
I love that.
It is.
I've never heard of that.
It is. And that's why they feel you shouldn't just take it forever. But like, I haven't read anywhere you should not take it forever.
I feel the same way about binders.
Yes. Yes. I love binders. I never knew what binders were until recently.
So you had to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you are the epitome of the Rumi saying the light is where the light is where, or the light is where the cracks are where the lighteners, excuse me, cracks are where the lighteners. And that's, you had something horrible happen to you, and now you're a lot of other people. So that's actually a beautiful thing out of something horrible.
My favorite, thank you. My favorite binder is Ceylon cinnamon.
Ooh, I actually tell everyone why though. I'd love to hear that.
So it's in cinnamon. So it's in my binder that I sell, because it helps with the inflammation. And while it calms the inflammation down, it's pulling the toxins, especially when you add it together with coconut activated charcoal. They work together in harmony in order to calm the inflammation down, which is being caused in the system while the worms are being attacked. They're causing your body to swell up, but it helps calm that down. And then the coconut activated charcoal pulls it out, and then it works together in harmony. And a lot of times people that get constipation don't get constipation with the Ceylon cinnamon, because the constipation is causing, your colon area to cleanse up with that inflammation.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, it makes sense because I see so many people who cleanse and detox and they actually gain a little bit of weight for the reasons like what you just said. That's one of the main reasons.
And you can take just Ceylon cinnamon, but I like it with the coconut activated charcoal so that they work together. So
it makes sense. Yeah, it makes total sense.
How do you detox with MTHFR?
So, just a little tip about MTHFR, which if you guys don't know what that is, I know it sounds like a cuss word, but it's actually a genetic SNP or genetic polymorphism. It's an epigenetic change sometimes for people in the genes, and this means a lot of things. But people have really made this gene kind of famous in the literature. It's not a whole lot more important than things like COMT or the Fox mutation. Some of these things aren't as popularized, but they're just as important. One tip about MTHFR: do not label and identify with this, you guys. I know you think you have problems detoxing. You can really reverse a lot of the effects of this gene polymorphism. And let me just give you one example. And there's some research out there. Go dig into it if you don't know about this. But Candida, we have research now that one of the byproducts of Candida, which is acetaldehyde, cross the blood-brain barrier and really makes people kind of feel drunk when they eat sugar, right? Or drink or anything like that. You feel immediately drunk. And so what Candida's byproduct, acetaldehyde, can do is actually slow down methionine synthase, which is an enzyme which helps produce and helps us methylate. So a lot of times your MTHFR won't be activated unless there's Candida or something present, which helps slow down this enzyme's activity and make the effects of that gene change worse for you. So a lot of times detoxing, getting rid of that Candida and its byproducts can actually help your problem of MTHFR.
Oh, I didn't know that for them. That's awesome.
Magnesium can help too, guys. So.
Oh yeah. Now you have a kit too. You have Cellcore.
Well, I don't. No, no, no. I believe in them. I speak for them at their annual conference, and I love their products. I know their team, but I am totally independent and not affiliated with anyone right now. I have my own products coming out later in
You
June,
do.
with Soul CBD, affiliated with them. Yeah. So, but I don't have any right now. No.
I didn't know. I thought, okay, so I watched that specific conference that you did, that with them, the one where the lady was pulling it out of her nose
Oh yeah.
and you guys
Yeah.
were freaking out. Yeah, I
Yeah.
put that on this channel. That, and then everybody, like, they were like, "Oh my god, she's so great." And I'm like, "She is. She makes me feel calm because this was very kind of lonely right at the beginning. Like, I don't know if I did such a I broke TikTok with the parasites. I mean, I got the worm queen name, everything for it. So, but I didn't have anyone over here really to go to. I was like lone wolf,
Yeah.
like, are you sure I have parasites?
So people will see parasite reels on here from me and be like, "Whoa, I ended up on the wrong side of the top."
Always.
Yeah, or just come and stay longer.
Yeah. We'll get you diagnosed over here.
No time. That's right.
Okay. So, can binders interfere with thyroid meds? Only, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have to do 2-hour breaks. So if you take any medications, any supplements, any cleanse, you have to wait 2 hours, then you do the binder, and then you have to wait 2 hours again. So we recommend taking the binder at nighttime. That's when we recommend, because most people don't have nighttime. They're going to sleep for about 8 hours, hopefully, and then you're not going to be, doing anything that could interfere with the binder.
Yeah, that's very true. You definitely don't want to be taking it close to things like early in the morning, close to your thyroid medication, right?
Mm.
That's what take it at night. If you do fulvic and humic acid binders, you might do one of those maybe during the day a little closer. That's a little safer, but do the other one at night. That's a nice combo too that works different ways.
I have I sent you a fulvic soak, right? Oh
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
You know,
I fan of fulvic and humics. You have no idea how much I love, 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 love them because they turn on a number of different biochemical pathways and
mhm.
antioxidant body, and they're just really amazing. So I have nothing bad to say about any of the fulvics and humics.
I
Thank
like
you.
fulvic. I like foot soaks in my fulvic. I had worms come out of my feet. I And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't know if it was, well, I do know because I have two little spots on my feet, so I know where they came out of, but I also had them in my water, which I used to do my soak. So I think the combination of the two produced
Uh,
one of the funky things that's in my video, but the things that came out of my feet moved, which, they're the one thing that I sent you, the M1 that we can't talk about. I know for a fact. And I can see people when they send me messages that are starting to go through that effect, and I'm like, oh snap, they got a bad case of it, because they're like, and I'm okay with it, but they're like a page of writing, and you're like, oh man, it's gone to their head, they're having an inflammation right now, like, it's kind of, but then they get it out, and you're like, okay, go do a fulvic bath now, okay, because it's gonna calm that down. So,
yeah, if you guys don't know, you can absorb things through your skin
mhm.
in 20 to 30 seconds, and it works just the same way. It still gets into the bloodstream just the same way.
And it's good for your feet because there's so many things. That's why I'm doing reflexology right now on the channel, so that people understand, like, when you're stepping down and you've got a hookworm, where do you think it's going immediately when you see that there's a spot all right there on your small intestine, right? You're stepping down in that area, that's what's starting to get affected. So
That's immediately what I thought of when you said in the feet. That's
mhm.
immediately what I thought. Bookworm. And honestly, you guys, like, we're taught about this in school. Like, we read about it, we are taught about these things, but we breeze over it. It's like literally 2 paragraphs.
Mhm.
And then that's kind of talked about, maybe one question on your test, right? And that's really it. We're told that we don't see this here. It doesn't happen here.
Do you feel like very indoctrinated when you left school? And then did you feel like kind of guilty a little bit too, that like we just all breezed over everything?
Oh yeah. Like I feel really guilty for the way I told patients they didn't have any issues when they probably did, and I bought into everything and the science before people, and I felt guilty that, I didn't know
Yeah.
early on. Yeah, for sure.
You just didn't know. And I think that that's where everyone talks to me about. It's like, well, I didn't know. And they didn't know. And if you go like in your mind, if you go outside of what your scope of practice is, like you are fearful, correct? Like in your, because you're an MD, you're licensed MD.
Yeah, absolutely. You're really what's some of the worst torture for humans is being, verbally castrated and chastised by their fellow humans.
Yeah,
And really, they're some of our biggest fear. And so I think that's what a lot of doctors are afraid of, is not being respected by their colleagues, by their field. And so it's sort of okay just to stay in the grain, stay in your lane, make things easy, right?
you're so cool, man. You're so cool, Dr. Jess. You're so cool. Like just the fact that you just stopped and you were like, that's it. Like I need to find out the root of my people, right?
Yeah, I was just really brainwashed for a really long time. I drank all the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I think we IV the Kool-Aid, right? Like it's
Yeah.
we've been all kind of taught to do.
Yeah, that's what happened. I mean, but if you really want to help people and make a difference, you have to do differently than what everyone else is doing, because the world is not a very healthy place right now. So if you're going to be like the rest, you're probably not going to be very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we don't know where this is all going to end up in our life, right? Like we're right at that point where like we're at the V in the road, the fork in the road. Like we can go this way or we can go this way. And that's kind of another thing that made me start to detox. Like I did not want to. I was on Klonopin for 22 years, 4 milligrams, and
Wow.
going on, I was like, I don't want to go to a doctor. I don't like, I need to like figure this out. And I think there's so many people that are on that path right now too.
It's
Um,
I People are being driven in one or the other direction.
mhm.
You're right.
We're in a split and it's cool because we get to see it in our lifetime. And I never really thought that us rebels and the people that just were free thinkers would ever really have this kind of a platform. And we do. And it's really cool to see it. Like I have goosebumps. Like,
I
uh,
love it.
do you take
Nuts.
patients, Dr. Jess?
Oh, this is one of the biggest questions I get on this platform, actually. And you guys have actually been emailing us, and I love it. So I don't do one on ones anymore. And let me tell you guys why. Before you judge me, let me tell you why. It's because I was spending an hour and a half with each person. And it can be kind of taxing, right? Because every single consult I was repeating myself, because the tenets of health stay the same. The
Mm-hmm.
pillars: sleep, energy, diet, movement, community, drainage pathways, detoxing, it remains the same for most people. And the secret sauce is in the bio individuality and uniqueness of each patient that you tailor things for. But because I was repeating myself each consult, I thought, how can I get this out to a broader audience? Because I feel like that the health of the future is going to be each person becoming their own best doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And what is best for them, because I may be a doctor, but I still don't know your body better than you. And my labs don't tell me what you're experiencing better than you do. And so I have to get people in touch with their body and be a guide. And I felt like I could do that from a membership platform, interacting with people, having protocols on there, and teaching them what I would say in a 1 hour consult with them. Right. And so that's what I did, and I've been super happy with the results. I've been happy with the people who seem to be healing from
Mm-hmm.
the platform. It's really, really, like, it's really, really rewarding when you see things that you thought couldn't happen actually are possible.
So you like a subscription that they could go to and then they could kind of like watch your videos.
Yeah, it's actually really interactive. So it's Wellness Plus is the name, and it's actually I did have a bunch of professional videos on there about a lot of the things we talked about today. I have a webinar, 2 hour webinar every other Saturday that I answer questions on, just like this.
Mm-hmm.
I have um, we do root cause quickies, so people write in and ask us what's the root cause of this disorder and what are the conventional versus holistic remedies, and I have 4 different doctors researching that for
Oh, she froze.
community forum. Yeah, I have 20% on my phone. That's the freezing. So, I have a community forum, sort of like Facebook. So it's uncensored, so we can say whatever the heck we want to on there without being censored. And then I have a store, so it's vetted products like your Pearify, great for the store. And then we give our audience a discount, so I like to extend any sort of affiliate sales to my audience. And then really, other than that, it's super interactive. We're heading more towards a social media platform one day. So that's our eventual goal. But it's really sort of how to be your own best doctor in a kit, and you can triage and help us answer. We help you answer questions with 4 different doctors on our community forum.
That's
So
so cool. That's so cool. That's where we're heading. This is where we're heading. It is. It's cool that you got into this. You guys, she has so many followers on Insta, like 263,000. She has a blue check mark over there.
yeah, it's only because if you the secret is getting published in like a couple online journals or magazines, and once you're published, they give you that blue check mark. That's the secret.
Well, and you're friends with Dr. Campbell. Like,
Yeah, he's awesome.
he really is.
He's so awesome. Yeah.
He's a cool. I watch him, not a lot, but you guys are hilarious. I watched a couple of your lives over there. Look at me, I'm fangirling. I'm like kind of like getting all red. I just think that it's very cool because I worked with doctors and they just were not like this. You know.
Yeah. No, it's really fun to find your tribe,
Mhm.
and feel like a quack all the time. I just really believe people. And once I started believing people, my eyes and my whole perspective was opened up to a whole new world of things I had missed.
Mhm.
And really dig into the ancient health, like Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. They knew this stuff.
They did. They did, and like even Native Americans, because I live on their land. Like I live in a community, and we're around the Skokomish tribe, like Oregon grapefruit. I mean, what do you think they did? Like they would supplement one thing with another. I love Oregon grapefruit. It's my favorite. That's why it has usnea. So my sustain is Oregon grapefruit and usnea. Yeah, I love me.
Yeah, if you guys know berberine, that's where it comes from.
Mhm.
It's the active constituent of Oregon grapefruit. It's such a great herb or root, I should say. It's amazing. It really is. It has so many benefits across the board,
So
actually.
not just, yeah, it helps with the inflammation. That's why I added it in. Because
Yeah.
and people that have been taking the Pearify kit, they're like, I don't have nearly the drama as what people are talking about. I'm like, yeah, because like I handpicked herbs that we could put in the kit in order for you not to feel like trash every day, all day long. Like you're not going to continue doing what you're supposed to be doing if it makes you feel like crap. Like, of course you're going to feel crappy, but you still have to function as a human. I'm in the middle of building a log home. I don't have time for all of this. I live in a travel trailer in the rainforest. I need to get in my house, which means I can't have my husband all laid up because he has worms.
No one can have that. Ain't nobody
No
got time.
one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. My goodness.
We got no time for this. We all have something we got to do.
This is true. This is true. I get it. Any other questions
Oh,
for
yeah.
us? I don't even know where questions.
So many. Okay, ex-nurse, this is so awesome. Thank you. Hey, 2 of my favorite people. I love that. I've heard great things about berberine. Is it berberine or berberine?
Berberine.
Berberine. Okay, how do you take it? Well, so Oregon grapefruit, if you get the sustain, which is in my profile, you can take just that. It also is an antiparasitic for protozoans. Um, but it also has usnea, which is going to curb your appetite a little bit and help you lose a little bit of that weight. That's why I really like usnea, is it helps curb your appetite. Where is the platform? Beset Mama wants to know where your platform is. Is it over in the link in your bio here or over on your Insta?
It is in the link in the bio here. And just if you guys went directly to the site, it would be app.drjessmd.com. So doctor is in DR.
Do you treat type 1 diabetes patients with your memberships?
Yeah, absolutely. Type 1 is a hard one, you guys. That's a really hard one. That the system and what I was taught believes that there's some sort of intrauterine or early sort of virus that attacks the pancreas that causes type 1 diabetes, but we really don't know. That's a really hard autoimmune condition. And yeah, we absolutely have any of the doctors, if you ask a question on the forum, we'll research and answer for you. And if you really want us to do root cause quickie, we can. I cover a lot on autoimmunity in the webinars in general on there. And definitely, you guys win consults with me every other week. I'm doing a consult live. So everyone submits questions. We pick a winner once a week, and then we're able to help directly that way too.
I didn't know that you did that. Like, I knew that you had something, but I didn't. Oh, I wish I would have known. I mean, I talked to 5 different physicians across the country to help my husband.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wish I would have known. I'm so glad I know now so I can refer people over. But I
Yeah.
know, I mean, I'm talking like in depth. I was going to pay cash. I mean, I looked at like upwards $500 because his insurance wouldn't do anything. And I was like, I need, and this is the state that most people are in that don't have that medical knowledge. They don't know where all to go. So they just give up. Right. And like, I'm
Yeah.
never going to give up. Like I'm here.
Ever give up, you guys. You heard it first. None of you guys give up. There's always an answer, and there's always a reason for your struggle. To usually what people get sick usually because you're supposed to heal yourself and then help others know how to do it. That's really sometimes the purpose and why people get sick.
Mm-hmm.
So hang in there, because there are root cause answers for things that I wasn't taught in school, and most doctors weren't taught in school, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're not. And I try, like, I try not bash, right? Because it's really hard for me to be like not bashing. Because I don't want people to not, I feel like Western medicine and traditional medicine, they need to go and work hand in hand. Like, there's so many cool advancements that we have that are life saving because of Western, but they just really trash traditional because of the fact that they don't understand it. So
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
big one. Where do we start in the process of cleansing? So I have a kit because it is overwhelming. So I started a kit. It has Candida. So Candida cleanse is with the Usnea, which is an antifungal. And then right now the kit you got has Gutty. And then we're actually switching. We do seasonal kits. So we're switching Gutty out and we're going to add in a liver, heavy metal detox that has willow bark in it that helps with the pain that's caused from them dying off. That's one of the biggest things that I get. And also I see a lot of tapeworms, and that's why I put hawthorn berry in the Pearify kit, because there's a lot
Yeah.
of tapeworms. Do you see a lot of tapeworms what you're doing now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of mucoid plaques and tapeworms too. And I like to open drainage pathways before people cleanse as well too, which usually, involves, like you mentioned, liver herbs, making sure people aren't constipated, making sure you can sweat, making sure you have decent energy, you're sleeping okay. All of these things. I kind of want you guys to be sort of stable before you go killing things off. So I always preach about drainage pathways and having them open before hardcore cleanse anyway.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the Purify kit's a hardcore cleanse, or do you feel like it's a little more gentle?
I think it's a little more gentle, which is great. Some of the other cleanses, not everyone can jump right into all the time, and you really have to kind of like prep
Mm-hmm.
people before, because the healing detox reactions are a real thing.
It is. It is. Have you ever done the Paragard?
No, I have not, but I know what products you're talking about.
Oh, it's a tough one, man. It's so
Yeah, I looked at kids.
it,
Yeah.
well, first off, it tastes awful. Like awful. I got empty capsules, size 00, put them in. I mean, Paragard's or Pearify is not fabulous. Like, I'm not going to go taking shots of it, but like, I can take it. I could, the
Yeah.
Paragard, oh my God. And
No.
the die offs, instant die offs.
Yep. If it's working, if that's the thing, guys. If you are having die off and you haven't prepped your body, you will feel it if it's an efficacious product. You will feel kind of, headachy, achy, maybe a little queasy. These are things I hear quite commonly.
So, two questions. How do you recommend opening up your pathways, and are parasite cleanses good for celiac? I get that a lot. Celiac, Crohn's. I know they are still all really good, but I want to hear it from you. And then how do you recommend opening up your pathways?
Yeah, absolutely. So opening drainage pathways is a big part of my membership. I have a whole course on it. I have a whole community forum topic on it. It's talked about a lot. And it's very complex, but in general, I have a whole set of questions. I asked to screen drainage pathways. So for example, for the liver, do you tolerate caffeine? How do you tolerate alcohol? Do you have 3-day hangovers? How about when I ask you to fast? Are you homicidal? You're going to kill your husband. You're so hangry. That's like a problem with the liver. Okay. So, we may not want to go killing things off if your liver can't process things very well and it's kind of stagnant, right? If you can't sweat, that means your mitochondria aren't making energy very well, right? That means your lymph isn't moving very well. So I don't want to go killing things off. The way I open them up are things like castor oil packs on the bowels to help you go to the bathroom or to help your liver and bile move. Enemas if people are too constipated, getting people in infrared sauna if they can tolerate heat, or even with very difficult patients, I work very slowly with them to have them tolerate things like this, even if they can get 2 minutes in a sauna, right? We add a minute on each week. Things like rebounding or dry brushing for the lymph massages, really, really doing trauma work and releasing trauma can also help before things like this as well. And then what was the other part of the question? It was
Crohn's, like, is cleansing
yes,
safe for celiac and Crohn's?
yes, thank you. So actually, guys, there's actual studies I can show you that will show you living in a water damaged home and mold can make you form anti-GLEAD and antibodies against gluten. So mold can actually make you form celiac antibodies, right? And celiac disease. Parasites and things like that also have a similar effect because they work in unison with mold oftentimes to get on top of the immune system. So I see this a lot. You can form antibodies to things that shouldn't be foreign because your immune system's a little haywire because it's full of pathogens a lot of times, parasites, mold toxins or mycotoxins, Lyme disease, things like that. Yeah, I think that the studies for ulcerative colitis, which is similar to Crohn's, showed sometimes there was E. coli and Candida working in unison. There's been a study that showed that. So absolutely, I've seen benefit with some of these people in cleansing. They'll find that they can't believe they can tolerate, a little bit of gluten when before they would have been sick and felt like they had the flu for 4 days. I've definitely seen that picture over and over and over before. I'm sure you have too, Kim.
Yeah, it's like a gut reset. Like you're resetting. Like you're able to kind of see where your body's really at because it's not fighting itself anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this one's a big one, and I know the answer, but I want to know. I want you to tell it. Do you have to cleanse, and your partner and everyone in the house should cleanse at the same time? What are your thoughts, Dr. Jess?
Yes, especially if someone's having severe symptoms or there's multiple similar symptoms between family members, but and especially if people are having continuing symptoms and there's a problem that way. So in general, I will definitely answer this as yes. I think most people in the household should cleanse at the same time to really eradicate everything, because these things are so stubborn. They have full life cycles inside in humans or animals sometimes, and they really can be passed on just through larvae or eggs. And so it's you really need to wash bedding pretty carefully, wash porous things, really detox your home naturally and safely, and cleanse yourself and your family members. Even pets sometimes can be involved too. Yeah, it's important to do that, I think.
We were told we had to stop like any activity of any kind, because if I didn't have, which I ended up not having roundworm, but he did, that then I could get it, especially when you're killing them off because they're really evacuating. So, and then I always feel bad because I sell a product, so I'm always like, everyone in your house should cleanse. Look, I'm not trying to take your money. I'm going to give you discounts, you know, but like, yes, everyone needs to cleanse at once. You ideas on how to do. Like, I feel bad sometimes, you know, because it's like, yes, everyone needs to cleanse, and then like the guilt of like, it's expensive to do this. I know that, like, I do, but then I also am happy to show people ways to do it themselves, you know, like how to do it all themselves.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I'll be honest with you. There is evidence in the functional world that Lyme disease can be passed sexually, and we think, parasites are in the same class of this as well. And so, if you're sharing a household or partner, whatever is going on, then we need you guys to cleanse, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes if people in a household just share a microbiome. They share the same gut bacteria.
And it's not a one and done, just like it's not a one and done with your animals. And in fact, some vets actually say, like, up here, you got to deworm your dog monthly, because
Oh,
it's so prevalent in this area. There's so many parasites. I followed a herbalist for a while, and she said whatever is outside your house is what's wrong with you internally, because when you're dropping your cells down, so there's like Oregon grapefruit everywhere, and so I'm like, oh, there's worms everywhere here.
wow.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Let's see. I will load this on my Insta. So I'll put this on my Insta. Maybe I'll put it on my YouTube too. I don't go over to YouTube very often, but I can put it over there.
I need to learn how to do that and put it on my stuff.
Uh,
Yeah.
I can send it to you, the link, or the actual download when it's done. You can download it too on yours when you go into your live. You can download it too.
Okay.
I don't want
I
to take
can.
all your time, so you tell me when you're done, because I go for hours.
Let's take a couple more questions, and then I'll just to be respectful, because I do like this live setup. So we'll have to do this
Yeah,
again with everybody.
please.
I think.
I would love to do this again with you. Honestly, like, um, it makes me feel better over here on Ticker Talker, because there aren't a lot of, there's all the TikTok MDs, and they're all like, there's nothing wrong with you. And I get made fun of a lot, and I'm like bullied sometimes through them. So it's nice to be able to have like the tribe with me and be like, yeah, this is the way it really is, people. No, it's not weird that your dog got Giardia. That's pretty, it's normal. Whatever they get, we can get. And we get that what they get. And then we can transfer it back and forth. And parvo is very, very highly contagious. Her thing's in. Okay, so yes, kids can cleanse. What is the age that you recommend cleansing for kids? That I get that a lot. And I said 3 and up on our kit, but I've also
Yeah.
seen 2.
Yeah, I mean, if they're liquids and the kids will swallow it, right? Then it's really, herbs are pretty safe, you guys. They're really, you got to think about Tylenol, that kills more than any other drug on the market and is over the counter. Strips your glutathione levels, the master antioxidant in the liver. Herbs are way safer, and we give to kids Tylenol all the time for fevers. So think about it, if they're not in pill form. If they're in tincture, liquid form, it's really easy to administer that way. They're really efficacious. So I think, that 3 is really safe. You can probably go a little lower. 3 is really safe. With kids, if they're pills, you really want to wait till they can safely swallow pills, right?
What about
So,
breastfeeding? Because when they're breastfeeding, it's going into the child, And if you're under the age of 3, say they're breastfeeding at 2, would you say that's fine for them to detox?
Yeah, there are a lot of companies that will say it's safe, but breastfeeding is a drainage pathway, right? So you can excrete toxins through breast milk. So if you're taking a binder, you have to think about maybe what I would do as a mom is pump around the times that I was not taking the supplements.
Okay. Yeah. So pump before and then take them. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, especially if the child's older.
There's a doctor I blocked. Arrogant. Hashimoto's. How do you feel about Hashimoto's? And have you seen it get reversed with that
Mhm.
when they're cleansing?
Absolutely. Time after time after time again. In fact, this is one of the ones that I have seen reverse the most, actually, out of more autoimmune conditions than others, which is great news because 1 in 3 American women are affected. It's really an epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think if you're removing toxins from the water supply, your diet, your household cleaners, things like that, that can cause problems with hormones and affect the thyroid gland. And then you're detoxing and removing things that don't belong in the body. The body really can come back to homeostasis and normalcy. And so it's really important for you guys. Number one of environmental medicine is to avoid. And number two is to detox things that don't belong inside of you. And they are there, stuck there because our liver, our bile, our sweat pathways, we don't poop regularly, are all stuck or stagnant. So you guys absolutely can reverse that and make your numbers better, put it in remission.
Do you feel like ADHD is related to parasites?
It's related to a lot of different things. It's usually a multi-pronged reason, disciplinary approach that's necessary for it as well. Usually trauma is involved, some sort of childhood trauma or continued stress, being stuck in flight or fight, extended or continued screen time where people don't need it as well. And then finally, pathogens definitely can be involved. I've absolutely seen that be a cause as well.
What do you feel is the most, this is my own question, what do you feel is the most problematic autoimmune disease that you've seen that's related to the parasites?
I would have to say probably something like Hashimoto's. I have to say, really, Hashimoto's and Graves, which both of that are autoimmune conditions of the thyroid, and then really severe PMS is usually can really be parasites as well too. Endometriosis is a big one, whether we consider that autoimmune condition or not, and then chronic fatigue syndrome, whether we consider that or not. I think that's really the big ones for me that I've seen. Lupus can sometimes be involved too.
In my opinion, I feel like my thyroid was most affected because I had really bad worms in my throat and I would get SGB. So I got slate ganglia blocks for my severe PTSD because it got so bad I couldn't really talk. It was super bad.
Nerve right there. Runs right here, the vagus nerve.
Mhm.
And that really that flight or fight response.
And it left me in it. And when and correct me if I'm wrong, when I would get my slate ganglia block, which is lidocaine in a steroid that they inject, that it put them in like hibernation while
Mm-hmm.
going in. And then as soon as it started to kind of wear off, they were crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is that what happens when people get on like steroids? Sorry, keep going.
No, trust your body. I was just saying, you kind of sounds like you kind of knew something was amiss or something was happening there. Yeah, the procaine definitely, it's an anesthetic, so it would make sense that it would paralyze them.
Have you seen that when people, because a lot of people take steroids, right? Like that is like the number one, hey, what's going on? Let's give you steroids. And then they get off of them and they start to go haywire.
Yeah, what steroids do is lower the immune system, so it kind of I think I don't know. It should make the parasites kind of go crazy when the steroids wear off because the immune system can kind of go crazy again. Parasites can swing the immune system into a haywire position, into a Th2 dominance in the immune system anyway. So it sounds like the steroids probably lowered the immune system's overactiveness caused by the parasites.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you remove right? The overactiveness caused by the parasites of the immune system came back. And some of the symptoms, that swelling, puffiness, itchiness, all that stuff that parasites cause came right back.
So they cause a lot of itching.
Oh yeah. And look, I'm itching right now talking about it.
I did too. I was like, itch. I was like, itchy. Mother Nature's steroid is wormwood. Mother Nature's prednisone. If you look up wormwood and the compound behind it, and that's one thing that I did learn, because when I was getting off Klonopin, I studied Amanita muscaria. It's the mushroom, the toadstool mushroom, and I take that in lieu of Klonopin, but I studied the DNA structure of wormwood and the prednisone that they synthetically make, and they're almost similar, like almost to a T. But I read a bunch of German studies. I don't know. Germany is all about this. Back in the 50s, they had books about worms. They talked about how it was the number one reason for people's illness. They really did a really good job. And
yeah.
I know. I sometimes so I can't always listen to the frequencies that I post now on my channel. I couldn't listen to them because I would get itchy, and it was terrible. And then when I would see people's worms, because they send me the pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I'm all about that. They slide right into my DMs, all your parasite pictures. I know. So, but my phone is going to die here in a minute.
We'll get together.
But this has been amazing. I hope you guys have had some of your questions answered, some of perspectives shown about how you go about understanding the body, at least, right? And your story is amazing. Everyone needs to hear your story.
Oh, thanks. So, we all have one. I just feel like it was time. On the spiritual side of it, someone did a tarot. My bestie, Pistol Packing Rancher, she's here on TikTok, and she read my cards and said there's a niggle. The day that I started going viral, 9.7 million people viewed my story about parasites.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think I saw that one. Someone's asking, do high eosinophils equal parasites? Absolutely. When I started parasite with my dad, he had high liver enzymes and high eosinophils on his labs, on his blood work. And I said, look, we caught some parasites right in your liver. So absolutely it indicates that. That's the last good question there.
EOS, you guys, you got to ask for your CBC with Absolute to get your EOS. And if they can test you right when you're in a flare-up, they will know you have parasites immediately.
Happened with my dad. I caught it personally with my own father. So, who no longer has type 2 diabetes because we cleansed him so much. He lost 20 pounds and so no longer has type 2 diabetes. So, it's possible, you guys, to heal a lot of these chronic illnesses that you don't think you can. I want you guys to have hope. So,
Dr. Jess, thank you so much.
It was so much.
This was awesome. We appreciate you, and we're so excited you're over here on TikTok more.
Hey, thank you, Kim, so much for having me. This was so much fun. Vibed out with you. Have a part 2 sometime.
We will. We'll do it again. I'm going to post this on Insta if that's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Oh, that was so fun, you guys. That was so fun. So fun. All right. So I can answer some questions. I'm sorry we kind of got off guard, but I appreciate you guys so much. And I hope that we were able to answer everything, and go follow her on here. Let's show her how TikTok's awesome. And she's really smart. Go join anything that she has going on, because man, we're so lucky. We're so lucky that we've got her, and she's very spiritual, and she's very much, we talked about what you can and can't say on my live so that we can continue having lives. So she's very well versed. Okay. So if I missed your guys' question, please ask me again. I really appreciate your guys' patience. I tried to get to as many questions as possible. So how do we start to cleanse? Okay. So my kit, which is on rogershood.com, you're going to go and it's an all-in-one. It has instructions. It has gutty for the next 2 weeks in it. So it's a colon cleanse, and then it's the main cleanse. It helps with candida, and it has a binder. Use Pearify 10 as your discount code. So that was so good. It was so good, right? I am so fangirling. Like, still, I can't believe I had her on. I can't believe it. Like, she asked me too. It was so cool. It was so cool. Hold on, let me just thank her.